Really? This is bad timing, buddy. You just hopped right on up, huh? What's this Theo, guys? Theo, say hi. Ooh, oh, Theo. Theo. Dude. Ow. Ouch. Ouch. Crazy. Elsa's running around here, too. Anyway, what's up, guys? Kenny here. So I'm going to give you an update what I've been up to lately, and apologize for not posting videos. Started the channel with a ton of ambition to pump out videos and things like that, and discuss and talk. And I had a bunch of video projects come in. I do video production for a living, so I had a bunch of projects come in. Um, that took us some time, and then ended up booking a lot more jobs. So they've been sucking my time dry. Married, got two children, two beautiful little girls. One's 3 and the other one's 7 months. Wife, wife works night shift as well, so it can get difficult, you know. And our family outside of just us, but has had a bunch of issues and difficulties too. Yo, buddy, just calm down. Pause. Anyway, so we've dealt with a lot. Seems like as soon as I started doing this stuff, not just this, but posting verses and stuff on Facebook, um, spiritual warfare just been it's been brutal. It's been brutal, but Christ is faithful. we're we're trying to prove ourselves faithful. Isn't that right, buddy? Hmm. Anyway, a little bit about me. I was adopted at the age 4. I was pulled out of my birth mom's home at age 3 for all kinds of stuff, primarily drug use and things like that, heroin, dirty needles, and all kinds of stuff all over the place. So I was pulled out of that home, put in the foster care system, adopted shortly after by a wonderful Christian family. Um, and they are my family. They are my parents. They're the people that raised me. They chose to raise me. I think that is an absolute blessing. Um, is looking at where I could have been to where I'm at. Um, you can't step on that cord, bud. That's a hard drive cord. Uh, Come on, just get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Good boy. Crazy. No, stay. Good boy. Um, Looking at where I could have been to where God placed me was, and when I still look back at it, I get blown away by it. It's like my birth mom died at the age 27 when I was 8. So due to drinking and driving, had a over 2.0 blood alcohol level. Um, hit hit a tree or telephone pole and ended up dying from it. Same with the guy that was with her, and I don't believe that guy was my father. But anyway, all that to say that I was adopted at an early age. Never really let go of the animosity or bitterness of losing my birth mom. Um, when you're a little kid, you don't pay attention to all the negativity surrounding the person that you love, if that makes sense. Um, you do some aspects, but not always, not all of it. And I chose, I guess, when I was young to ignore it. When she's gone, um, I obviously missed her, and I knew I would never get to see her again. So that was rough. And, the mindset I had was, that was my mom. She's gone. Now these other people took me in. These other people they're my parents. Um, that's the attitude that I had. Whew, sorry. Apologies. Whew. My little one, 7-month-old, kept us up a lot last night. Um, but yeah, I held on to that bitterness for a long time, even after I became a Christian myself, which that didn't happen until I was 12. Down in Tennessee, heard a message, and that message crushed me. And one of my friends from church at the time led me to Christ then and there. Came back up to Maryland. That's where I grew up, and was baptized by our church. Our church ended up splitting. I turned my attitude around, and then our church split, and I lost all my friends because my family left the church too, and we went to a little tiny church with a bunch of old people in it. No offense to them, they're all huge blessings in my life, um, but there was no youth there. There was just me and my cousin. That was it. That's all that we had. Just me and my cousin, and we hung out and did life, and we got into all kinds of stuff. Secular music, rock and roll, punk rock, anything really. Um, MTV, all that stuff, music videos. Always checking out girls, all kinds of stuff. Just living a non-Christian lifestyle, but went to church. Um, and I get an ultimatum at, well, let me back up. High school, things got so bad in high school. I ended up getting homeschooled when the church split happened. I was homeschooled from 8th grade through 10th grade. My junior year, I went back to school, but it was a school 45 minutes away. So I carpooled there, and then when I got my license, I started driving down. But I started going to that school. I played sports with them all through high school. They did this umbrella program, so you got to go there and play sports, but you didn't have to actually go to school. You could be homeschooled. Anyway, so that's what I did up through 10th grade. In my junior year, I go to school, go for 2 quarters, and ended up, causing a bunch of problems in the school. Basically, when I was homeschooled, my 10th grade year, I was using 11th grade curriculum. Um, so I basically, when I went to a physical school, um, I was getting retaught the same stuff. I already knew it, but I knew my mom still had the answer keys at the house. I played sports. If you didn't reach a certain grade letter, or you had too many bad marks and your grade dropped, you weren't allowed to play sports. Our team got invited to nationals, um, and we were going to lose 4 to 5 starters, and we needed them to play nationals. This was my thought process. It's like, so what I'll do is I'll just get these kids the answer key um, the day the day before, so they can just literally learn the answers and pass the test, and we're good to go. We can play soccer, and after soccer season's up, I'll cut it out. No real harm or real foul. It's only cheating on like 2 tests. That was my mentality. Um, anyway, we got caught, and I got suspended, and really nobody wanted to hang out with me or anything. And I was already the nerdy jock kid that um, nerdy jock previously homeschooled kid, so it was hard to fit in even in a small tiny Christian school. But yeah, ultimately decided, I guess because of embarrassment or lack of friends, that I just didn't want to go back to school anymore. And I told the people that um, hung out with me that really weren't, they were really disappointed in me and didn't really want to hang out with me, but they had a little bit of sympathy, I guess, and hung out. And I told them that I wasn't coming back. They're like, okay, that's fine. So I was basically like, screw you, I'm not coming back. Peace out. So I didn't. I homeschooled the rest of my junior year, and the pastor there really was the pastor of the school church that I went to was really the only one who reached out and was like, "Yo, what you did was wrong, but you know, we forgive you. We'd like you to stay." And I was like, "Nah, it's fine. I don't really want to stay. I'm done." He's like, "Listen, just come back next year then." So that's what I did. Came back my senior year. Um, it got treated completely differently. Uh, and I mean that just at school. That didn't change things with my family. My family, you know, it was I stained their reputation. Um, and they inadvertently, I don't think purposely, kind of held it against me. I don't know. I can't really say that. I just know that it caused a lot of strife between us, and that strife lasted years, really. Um, and I basically got an ultimatum. I can either go to the local community college or go down to Pensacola Christian College down in Florida. And I'm like, peace out, I'm going to Florida. So that's what I did. I went down to Florida. I went from, you know, a super tiny little bubble to one that was just slightly bigger. Really, the only thing different is um, I didn't have to be in bed by 10 p.m. I could be up till 11. I could talk to girls. It was something I wasn't allowed to do. I wasn't allowed to call girls or talk to them or kind of build any kind of relationship with a female. Wasn't allowed to have a girlfriend. Um, I was able to get a cell phone, at college. Different things like that. So that's what happened. I went down to Florida, ended up meeting a girl. We dated. Um, Almost pretty much got asked not to come back to Pensacola due to their demerit system and some of the stuff that I had done. Not like buttoning my top button and all that, but um, just silly stuff. Anyway, I get asked not to come back. Apply to LU, Liberty University, and got accepted. Liberty was unacceptable for my parents. It was a very loose school because they heard from a friend of a friend whose son had evidently seen one of the LU football players with beer off campus or something. And I'm like, well, when I was at Pensacola, I saw all kinds of stuff just like that off campus. So you can't really, you know, base base that off of one person's opinion. Anyway, what they didn't know is I had already applied and was accepted. The girl that I was dating uh, was going there, so I followed her, and that's what I wanted to do. So that's ultimately what I did. But my parents finally came around to it. They came around to me going to LU, Liberty University, and I remember when I stepped foot on that campus. And give the experience of both campuses. When I stepped foot on Pensacola's campus, I had a, I remember I had a white Hurley shirt on. It's like a little skate company. Now it's like snowboard, all kinds of stuff. Little Hurley white shirt, and they're like, "That's inappropriate dress. Um, have you checked in yet?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "Okay, well you need to go back to your dorm and change to appropriate dress code." I'm like, "I'm not even registered here yet. Like, no, I'm not going to go change my shirt. I'm not going to walk another 15 minutes back to my dorm just to change a shirt for you guys." So that was my first experience there. First experience at Liberty was, "Hey, how you doing? How can we serve you today? How can we help you get to where you need to go? By the way, we're gonna have a worship session in the Vine Center. Do you guys want to go? You're more than welcome to. You don't have to, but today's first day of sign ups and yada yada yada, whatever it was. And we can go. You can go worship. Didn't matter that I had a T-shirt on. Didn't matter that I had a hat on, or flip flops and things like that. I was blown away by that. I was like, wow, like I'm gonna like this place. Um, Literally from the first moments that I was there, I was immersed in love, and I really was all the way through Liberty. My whole college career there was a huge blessing. I still have friends from Pensacola that I talk to, and I deeply cherish those relationships. But um, the amount of friends that I have from LU is just astronomical. The guys that I talk to, guys that I've cried with, guys that you know have helped me through things, guys that just show continual love. Um, my best friend to this day, I met at Liberty, so extremely grateful for that place and that university, regardless of where they are today. Um, that boosted my faith, but that didn't really change how I lived my life. I still lived, even though I was going to Liberty. I still listened to secular music. Toned it down. I took out the curse words, basically, things like that. Um, and got into a little bit cleaner secular music. Um, more so like bands like Brand New, like that was the big thing, your underground rock bands. Um, we got to play with, I played in some bands at Liberty, not for Liberty, but, um, bands that I started with friends and things like that. And we got to play with some pretty big bands and, had some small, mid-sized record labels contact us to sign us. As soon as that happened, that band fell through, so we started another band, or I joined some bands. I went through like 5 different bands. My last band I was in was one that I had started, and I was like the frontman for, and things like that. Same deal, another record label approached us. By this time, I'm with a different girl. This girl's like 2 girls after the girl that I followed from Liberty. Um, that the girl that I followed, I'm sorry, girl that I followed from Pensacola, girl that I followed from Pensacola, ended up breaking up with me, shortly after we got to Liberty, and started dating a new girl the following year. So when that semester started, and we dated for 2 years, and then I broke that off because I knew I wasn't going to marry her, and broke it off, and literally fell in love with a new girl very, very quickly, and that woman is now my wife. Anyway, yeah. So when I'm getting serious with this girl, she's not my wife yet. I'm getting serious with her. I know that I love her. I know that she loves me. We're talking about marriage and what we want out of it and different things like that. What does God want out of a marriage? And does that line up with our goals? And and through those discussions, I get these emails, having a couple labels wanting to fly us out to talk to us about setting up a deal and all. And she's like, listen, I want to be a nurse. I want a husband that's at home, all this stuff. So, a couple days later, I declined the opportunity. And basically, 2 guys fell out of our band and just kind of just went kaputs from there. And I was kind of upset about it um, internally. It's conflicted about it. One hand, I loved music. I've been playing music my whole life. Um, and I love this girl. Like, what do I do? So, yeah, that was my decision. I just chose to not play music that kind of level. And I really just gave it up for a few years, probably 5, 6 years. And um, during that period, my birth mom, like I had said, was a drug user, heroin and all that. And I had found out that um, this actually during my college career, not with my wife. Um, I found out that I was born with Hep C, and it's pretty rare to be born with it. It basically means your mother was infected with Hep C during pregnancy, which means my mother was shooting up while she was pregnant with me. That might explain why I'm so crazy and just a nut all the time, but I'm just joking. I'm joking. Anyway, I was diagnosed with Hep C, and that really shook me again, right? So here's something else tossed in my life, finally getting to a good point, starting to see the love of Christ, you know, um, over a set of rules, uh, and then I get hit with this. I'm just like, just 1-2 punch. Pretty much my whole life. A lot of my strife's been caused by myself, and some of it's been spiritual warfare. Like lately, spiritual warfare. I'll get into that in a minute, but um, I'm crushed with you this disease, and I'm living with it. My wife, my current wife, uh, knows that I have this disease. So we start doing research right after we get married, and we're living in Virginia Beach at the time, really Norfolk, Virginia, little town called West Ghent. She was working at a children's hospital down there. She's a NICU nurse, so that might tell you a little bit more about her. She's just a selfless person. Um, that's why I'm a winner. But she's down there. She's doing swing shifts and things like that, and she's doing all kinds of research. And she finds this new treatment called the Pegasus treatment. And you know, we'd been there for about a year, and we'd been talking about moving up north to New Jersey. So here we are, up here in New Jersey. We make the move, decide to do this Pegasus treatment, and it's a shot of interferon a week. It's 18 pills a day kind of treatment. Um, some say it's like a mild chemo treatment. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. One, because I've never done a chemo treatment, something that's been labeled a chemo treatment, so I can't rightly say that. And people that, let's just put it this way: if that's what a mild chemo treatment is really like, pray for everybody who goes through a chemo treatment because it was horrible. Um, you know, this is how I was vomiting. You know, the first night that I was on that stuff, took my shot. I had to get up to use the bathroom. Sarah and I are married at this point, and we're living in her parents' basement because we moved up so fast. I didn't have time to get a job or find a job. Um, and they offered up their basement, which was it's pretty much redone. Just no kitchen, but there's a bed and like entertainment room and things like that down there. So we were living there. I do this treatment. I can't even get up the stairs to go to the bathroom, um, and that's how hard it was. But I'm not saying all that for self pity, but that's the diagnosis that I was going through. And when I started the treatment, pre counseling, basically they're like, listen, this treatment's going to be either 6 months or a year. Your viral load count, it's probably going to be, the 6 months. But if it doesn't take your first month, we don't see any reduction, you're going to have to do it for a year. So, it's kind of tense. And then I take the treatment, I do the first day, and I'm just like, I can't do this for a full year. It's going to be impossible. I don't want to do it for a year, but this is what I'm going to have to deal with. Now the side effects of this stuff is like heavy depression, like big mood swings, all kinds of crazy stuff, to the point where like they have a suicide line call you weekly to make sure that you're doing okay, that you're not going to do something stupid that you'll never be able to get back. And family members just constantly watch you. Well, like I said, I always dealt with the bitterness. Well, this brought up so much. All I could do was focus on bitterness, no matter what I tried to do. I couldn't get off of it. Just want to be left alone. I would sleep like 14, 15 hours a day, wake up, just play some video games, set my alarm intermittently for when I had to take my medicine. Wake up, take my medicine, eat a couple crackers, go back to sleep or play video games or whatever I was doing. Just had no ambition for life. One, I'm living with my mother and father-in-law. Two, I have no job. Three, I can't get a job because I don't have the energy to literally really get out of bed. Four, like I'm a massive loser of a husband, all this kind of stuff. So those are the kind of things you go through. Anyway, I have to go get my blood tested every single month, and then meet with the doctor every single month to get a report. Go do my first round of blood tests. Doctor gets the results, calls us in, set up an appointment, go in. He's like, listen, dude, like I've done this my entire career. I'm getting ready to retire. You're one of my last patients I'm taking on. I'm getting ready to retire. I don't understand this, but you're supposed to have, if it's going to work, your 10% drop every single month. It's like you have a 90% drop in your viral load count your very first month. We were blown away. We weren't in church at this time either. Like down in Virginia, when we moved there, we took our time finding a church, and it took and when I say taking our time, it took us like a year to actually get out of our house and go find a church. We were very very apathetic about it. We finally find a church. Then we move up to New Jersey and start doing this treatment. And we're not in church um, at this point. After we get that news, though, we're going down the elevator and we're both just like we both don't know we don't know how to say anything to each other. We're just both locked in silence or awe. Uh, and that was a huge turning point in my life because I saw what God had done, and that is I'm one of His children, but I'm not living for Him, and He extended grace. He extended grace and started drawing my wife and I back in. We found an amazing church up here. Um, it's been a long process there, but 4 years in, we're able to, serve. She works night shift. We got 2 kids. I travel a lot for work, um, and we still find time. We still find time to get to church. And typically, if we can't make church because she worked Saturday night, and works Sunday night or something like that, or I'm traveling. Like we're fortunate enough where our church puts the messages online so we can go back and listen to them. So we'll get that done. And then all you guys, like all these guys on YouTube, guys and gals, you know, since the Revelation 12 sign happened, you know, I was involved in church. I got involved in the worship band. There's 4 different worship bands, like the floating electric guitarist. So I'll get to play, but I usually play once a month. And we're working our way in, and we're just seeing ourselves grow in fellowship and in love for Christ. And you know, I would say we're lukewarm. We're lukewarm at this point. And then, in February of 2017, almost a year ago, I remember just hopping on online, and just like, oh, I wonder what's on YouTube. And I had gotten into like conspiracy theories because I was building a plot for a movie that I wanted to film. It's a little short film, like a little 20, 25-minute short film. And I'm like plotting, and I'm like, I want to take conspiracy theories, kind of convert them, take a bunch of them, convert them into one movie, all kinds of stuff. So I'm doing a bunch of research on it. Um, so I'm going through all that, and I read and listened a lot about like the Philadelphia experiment, about like time travel and Tesla and all that. And I remember seeing like one of the recommended videos, September 23rd, 2017, and it had like a black background with the constellations, these 2 constellations. Now I'm not into the zodiac, never was. I never thought that was right for Christians to get involved with, but I never pushed that on anybody else. Um, but I see this, I'm like, what is this? And it says like end times or something. I'm like, this is nuts. I need to check this out. So I clicked on it, and it was like Heavenly Signs 2017 posted this. I think that's their channel. I think his name's John. I remember watching that, and I was just like, what did I just see? So from that point forward, it has been nothing but, I was researching it, watching other people's opinions, all kinds of stuff. And it wasn't until I posted my first video that I felt comfortable on the topic. And that spawned a bunch of other um, thought processes of, how, not just when I posted videos, but when I got into Revelation 12 stuff. Um, like, how is a Christian actually supposed to live? Like, and just getting into this stuff, like, you know, they say, saved by faith, faith alone, and all this stuff, which is what I believe. But then I started like getting into the Christian YouTube stuff. If you're not theologically sound, you're gonna bump into a lot of different ideas on salvation, um, and you know, wrong or incorrect interpretations of Scripture, and that's where I was at. I was seeing a ton of this stuff, and I was like, well, wait a second, that kind of makes sense and all this, and I'm just like, no, 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 no. But I had to push those away. Like I had to push away some of those incorrect teachings. Um, but it's just crazy, like how one YouTube video uh, really launched me into this. Me personally, I'd never heard of Scotty Clark. I never heard of um, Barry Scarborough or any of these people. I wasn't into the Christian aspect of YouTube. I just basically got on there to watch music videos, instructional videos, like how to repair like a leaking faucet and things like that. And then I started getting into creativity, how to do these different things in like After Effects and Premiere and different shooting techniques. And I've been doing that for years because that's my profession. It's what I do. But like I see this and I'm blown away by it, and it just launched me into this. And I think like so many other people, like your faith just launched like a rocket, really. Um, that's what happened to me. It happened to me and my wife. We've been able to talk to a lot of people personally. Um, People that are like, oh well, this stuff's just crazy. This stuff's nuts. Like, no, no, just pay attention. Just look at it. Just look at it. Really pay attention to the details. What do you see? Like, you cannot say that this is not this, or can you say that this is this? Just, you know, being realistic, um, reading the script for what it is, reading the text for what it is, and looking for those things. Um, but it launched me into, reading the whole Bible. Uh, I read the whole New Testament in just a couple months. We're going back through it again and again and again. It's just I love it. Like I love reading, praying, worshiping. I just love talking about Christ. So this is not who I was before the diagnosis and then the recovery. I'm Hep C free. I have been for 4 or 5 years now. So um, it's just amazing, right? I'm still blown away by it, guys. Um, let's pray and close out. All right, dear Lord, I thank you so much for this day. I thank you for the ability to just hop online, fire up the webcam, and just grunge it out. A perfectionist. This is definitely not something that I'm used to putting out online. It's usually something polished, but you know, I feel your love. I feel your presence. I see it all over the internet, all over online. Um, Adam's videos, Barry's videos, everybody that is associated with them they're so loving, so kind, um, and you can just see it spread. It's spreading like a wildfire. Your love is, Lord. We thank you so much for it. We just pray that that fire doesn't go out. Um, we pray for guidance. We pray for wisdom and direction. Just be with all the fellow brothers and sisters that are having a hard time. They've fallen away, Lord. Just draw them back, bring them back, so that they can see you and they can feel your presence again. Lord, I love you. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. All right, guys. So this is a long video. I'm sorry. If you're on your computer, just click the little button and play it back double speed or whatever. Anywho, I'm gonna get into some dreams. I'm gonna start posting some videos of dreams that I've had. It's very interesting to me because I've been seeing the numbers 9/11 on the clock almost every single day, um, morning and evening for probably 2-3 years, and it's a joke. It was a joke between me and my wife. Um, oh, there she is texting me. It was a joke between her and me. Like, oh, look, it's 9/11 again. Ha ha ha. Um, Let me just reply to her real quick. There we go. But, after the Revelation 12 sign, coming up to that time frame, some people that I'd watch were like, oh well, you know, um, we're looking at all these different dates. It could happen up to 9/11, or sorry, up to 9/23 till the close of it, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. I love it. I can't wait to meet Jesus face to face. All this stuff, and then 9/11 passes. I'm like, okay, well, that definitely was not a prophetic sign for a date. And September 23rd goes by, and I think a lot of us were confused about what it actually meant. And then I'm still seeing this number. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why do I keep seeing this? And then like I'll look and it's like 6/11, like upside down 9. But it's almost like an internal clock. Like when I glance over at night, to check the time, boom, 9/11. Just like what? Anyway, the Jewish New Year 5779 starts on 9/11 this year. It's interesting. I'm going to talk about some other dreams and stuff too. Um, Dreams that have lasted. I say dreams. I haven't even been asleep in any of these. One, I was getting ready to doze off. I can't say that I wasn't asleep for that, but I can't say that I was either because I started to doze off. 3 seconds later, I'm in a full body sweat. Um, had just seen a bunch of crazy stuff, and yeah, it's interesting. And then that's happened, 3 times since that. Not exactly the same way, but it'll be interesting to talk about and see what you guys think. Anyway, love you guys.